positions at Monday and how they've got it taken up. Certainly going to have a lot of possession and a lot of the territory.
Easy take for the Chimpa. He'd be glad he could get a little busy as well.
And not a bad game to make your debut. Expect him to walk away with a clean sheet today. That's probably as many times as he'd be expecting a touch the ball in this first half, given how strong the lineup is with the line.
Hardik, another cross. Once again, just behind the on-rushing players, someone has to hang back. Just faster, better, technically stronger. The champions of India expected to be dominant. I wonder how long the CISF can continue playing like this. They don't have another option though, Brad. East Bengal will force them to stay behind.
Yeah, you can just see there's a little bit of an adjustment now. It's almost become like a 5-4-1 at times, and that's how they're going to have to make it very difficult, not give those space between the lines, and just keep everything in wide areas and say we'll deal with the crosses as and when they come.
Another one. Rajkumar Mato tried to grab it, but then it was cleared away by Khalid. Chimnunga.
And that's where you feel, at least with the likes of Khalid, who's come in today for a start, and Karanjit, the ball's coming in from wide areas. In terms of aerial ability, they should be able to match what Edmund, Justin or Vishnu could match up against them. Just have to make sure their midfield does the job and doesn't allow the likes of Ramirez and others ghost in behind. Seen that ability in the previous game against Mohan got himself, him and Rashid got themselves in a wonderful goal scoring position.
And that was the kind of situation in which maybe CISF can try something different, almost automated, that when they get the ball out wide like that, they put it across. With no one waiting inside the box, it's entirely pointless. Jason. Offside flag is up.
Yeah, they've got the extra pace today in both wide areas. Just went a little bit early. They're not going to get many opportunities. You just feel to use their pace to get in behind. You don't expect CISF protectors to play a high line. So too far off the field as they did in their previous game against South United. You can see as soon as they lose possession, immediately the instructions from the coach to drop back into shape. Just probably leave either Jacob or the stay up front.
There's a ball that opens them up again. First time ball was always inviting to send in for Edmund. Justin applauds the effort, the idea. Surely Edmund knows he could have done better with so much time.
Order East Bengal অনুকূলে.
Maybe just a little complacent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the risk when they play a higher line, push up the field. There's going to be lots of gaps in the wide areas. First time ball, just not quite getting it right.
Ramirez fighting for Anwar Ali to go up. Took a little nick before Rajkumar could gather. It's been 10 minutes of East Bengal attacking CISF.
Yeah, this is where they've got to make sure they're strong, don't concede some of the softer goals from a set piece. They break you down with a little bit of quality, a little bit of skill. That's kind of understandable. They do have, at least physically, they should be able to match up with. It's not the biggest looking East Bengal side at the moment.
nicely controlled by Ramirez in a tight space. Edmund with more time towards the byline.
Oh.
Cuts it back. First time effort from Cheeks and is just wide.
Yeah, good stand up and apology, but fair play. So many men behind the ball, about 9 players in the way. And in that penalty box, 9 CISF protectors trying to block that ball going to goal. Very little margin for Cheeks to try and place that into the back of the net. I think that's what they're going to have to do, a little bit of shots from distance, maybe a little bit of trickery from the likes of Edmund Vishnu in the final third. What's going to have some little bit of magic from Danny Ramirez to unlock this defence if they organise themselves well and make sure there's not too many gaps, and they certainly don't want to be conceding on the transitions.
Here come the protectors, just escaping the control of Jatinder. It is Jatinder and Jacob who start once again on top. Same midfield as well, Hangmin and Damanpreet. Ooh, handball, is that?
Kind of.
It should have been, if the referee had spotted it, his arm certainly was away from his body. It wasn't quite what you describe as a natural position. But I think just from a contest point of view, I think it's good that it's been in England for as long as possible. Start to see a little bit more of what this East Bengal side are made of and how they can unlock a stubborn defence.
Here's Mandi. Now onward. Hardik. Good to see him try all kinds of runs expected of fullbacks these days. Sometimes it's the inverted run, sometimes it's outside, of course. And they also tend to become extra midfielders during build-up. What's happening with that spare wide player? Coach is trying to use the intelligence of these players and get an advantage. Here comes Edmund once more on his favoured right side. A couple of times that he's tried that, and this time he's struck an opponent who stayed down.
That's a head injury, which is why our referee
ইস্ট বেঙ্গল অ্যাটাক করছে কিন্তু গোল আসছে না কোনোভাবেই।
stopping play to give an opportunity player to get a little bit of treatment. Safety first, obviously. Took it flush on the face.
13 মিনিট খেলা অতিক্রান্ত হয়ে গিয়েছে। সিআইএসএফ এর একজন ফুটবলার চোট
Protocols
পেয়েছে।
that have to be followed. It's going to be one of those nights for Antonio Abbas that the longer CISF protectors can frustrate East Bengal and keep the game scoreless, start to see him get a lot more frustrated with his players. Maybe the players will start to panic.
Should be fine. Jatinder. A little help from East Bengal's team of physios as well.
Yeah, that's good to see. Good sporting relations in this tournament.
Nothing to show for their dominance in this opening quarter of an hour. Ramirez, Mandi, Edmund just inside. Wants the give and go, wanted it slightly ahead of him to Rashid. This time it does fall to him and sliding challenge to block or what could have been another Edmund attempt. And here come the protectors. Maybe an early ball from this angle. Difficult to get past.
just recognising the fullbacks got forward. Position that Dixon's playing, he has to come back and cover in those spaces. Really good, well-timed tackle, clean, gets all of the ball. Probably one of the most improved players last season under Oscar Cruzon. Dixon just showed his versatility to play in multiple positions. Oscar Cruzon using him in a variety of positions as and when he needed them. He was wide at times to counter the threats of opposition personnel. And maybe it's that experience and that maturity that he's trying to bring, which is what Habas has recognised and given him the captain's armband tonight.
Surely his best position is still central midfield.
There's people that argue he's probably better off as a centre-back. But I think I tend to agree with you, Fuller. Sitting in front of the back four is possibly his best position, but if you're talking about for the national team, there's possibly a lot of other players that he'd be in competition for that place.
Great first touch. Just showed a little too much of the ball for the challenge to come in. Rashidi struck the referee and came back to it, which is why it has to be stopped. What's to like about East Bengal this season as well, despite some departures. Another striker signing as well. Club finally doing their research and getting deals over the line. Hardik Ramirez. Chununga. That's a good pass.
Goal!
And then Vishnu's attempt carried out by Rajkumar Mato. Didn't have enough pace on it, but would have been delightful if it had gone in as a goal.
Yeah, it's a delightful little reverse pass from Nunga in the first place as the ball is shifting across. He's reversed it into the path of Vishnu. He's done well, and this is what you're going to have to do against a low block defence. Look to test them from distance. Try to just curl it up and over the keeper into that far corner. All credit to Martha. It's a good save. A save he should make.
Rashid's ball. Calmly sent away from danger. Here's good pass. It's a short pass. Immediately bounced upon by Jessin. Kept in play as well. Ramirez had to stretch. His cheeks. Sit back from a crowd of black shirts. Edmund. Sandeep first time.
Seeing Edmund drift over to the left-hand channel and Jessin playing a bit more centrally, unlike what the formation that was given to us, and you wonder whether that's something a conscious decision to make sure we can isolate Edmund Nalrindika against the position of fullback. That's the likes of Aditya, get him in those positions. But crossing the ball, getting the ball delivered from those wide areas isn't necessarily the strongest point of Edmund's game.
A little loose. Gonna go for goal from here. It's an effort. Bhola as usual, trying something new.
Yeah, it's worth the effort instead of getting all his teammates up there. You can see Lachenko's off his line. Would have taken something David Beckham-esque to beat him from there.
Now first time effort from Jessin, quickly blocked. Angle was closed down.
কোনো গোল আসেনি।
Vishnu.
পিভি বিষ্ণু
Again, causing problems out wide. Edmund. Delivery has not really been full of quality. Should be striving for more.
কুড়ি মিনিট খেলা অতিক্রান্ত, এখনো পর্যন্ত কোনো দলই গোল করতে পারেনি।
Eagerly waiting all the fans at Kishore Bharati in Kolkata for a breakthrough. East Bengal are calm about it. Lots of time left. Only once the first goal goes in. That's when the floodgates will open. Ramirez is looking for his first goal as well in his new colours. Here's Jessit. Swept in. A lot of pace for them. Not the direction it needed.
There you go, that's the frustration from Habas that we were talking about. Starting to look at his work, starting to wonder, do I need to make changes? Or as coaches now.
All of the possession. Still be enjoying some of the combinations that are being created. I think Vishnu and
কমেন্ট্রিটা কেমন যেন ভেড়া কমেন্ট্রি।
You know, these are the kind of games when you plan your pre-season, you want your games to sort of progressively increase in level of difficulty for your team. So you can't pick the format when it's a cup competition. Ramirez getting a start, getting a taste of a little bit of physical presence that you're going to get in these sort of games. Just trying to make a meal of it.
Vishnu foul and a free kick. The Veto's challenge.
Yeah, they got away with the first one and probably thought the referees being a little bit lenient. To pick a good start position.
Ramirez takes off target. I wonder whether Habas will continue playing an attacking brand of football. It's not to say that he's never played that brand, but it's the goal and the fans and the culture of the club demands attacking football, especially after what they've seen in a title-winning season. And it's important because it came after such a long time that it has the power to change the culture of how they play, how they operate.
की रक्षा नहीं बल्कि सड़कें पुल
bit of an odd signing to go from Oscar Bruzon's style of play and attacking football to opt for Antonio Habas. I think with the Asian competitions and all the uncertainty around, maybe they just want to have a little bit of stability. But I think it's going to be a difficult adjustment for a lot of the players in terms of having to switch from that particular style to what one would expect them to be playing this season.
Oh, we could all be surprised. Given the personnel is attack-minded, and you've seen this even at the best clubs in the world, so you can't be stubborn and be married to a boss.
আবার একটা অ্যাটাকে যাচ্ছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল অনেক অ্যাটাক করছে কিন্তু গোল হচ্ছে না কিছুতেই
This time from Karamjeet. And if the personnel is attacking, then Habas possibly doesn't have any option to play an entertaining brand of football. Give it some distance, trying his luck as well.
Yeah, you've got to start trying your luck from a little bit of distance, and you'd normally be questioning players, especially centre-backs shooting from that sort of distance, but Angrali, proven record of scoring from distance. Seen him in the second division for Delhi FC score one with his right, one with his left, both from distance in their promotion-winning season 5 years ago. So he certainly has the ability.
Rashid. He was exchanging passes and then Vishnu was all down. Roberto still doesn't go into the book. Referee's possibly warned him unless... Yeah.
বক্সে খুব কাছ থেকে সেন্টার পেয়েছে ইয়েলো কার্ড দেখলো সিএসএফ এর ফুটবলারটি দেখা যাক এখান থেকে কোনো গোল হয় কিনা
Yeah, it's just persistent foul. It was almost a rugby challenge of sorts. Even in rugby, that'd probably be a foul for a high tackle. It's clearly away. Vishnu had to bring him down. Did have a covering defender. So you wonder whether it was worth the effort getting himself into the book and conceding this dangerous free kick at this stage of the game.
Ramirez, good delivery as well. Rajkumar Mathur came out and punched it clear.
থ্রোইন সেন্টার থেকে কিছুই হলো না ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের অনুকূলে থ্রোইন ইস্ট বেঙ্গল একেবারে সিআইএসএফ এর বক্সের সামনে ঘোরাঘুরি করছে কিন্তু গোলটা আসছে না কোনো
The CISF protectors had to soak up pressure for half an hour now.
Yeah, even if they get 0-0 into this hydration break, I think that's a small victory. A look at the game and little quarters. A lot of coaches will stop to look at nowadays if this becomes the norm where we have these hydration breaks. You start phasing your game plans in quarters.
Everything closed down. Never say no to hard work. Can only get you that far in football though. Really nice ball over the top. Vision from the other wing, inviting ball in. And Rashid straight to the keeper once more. Somehow it's still 0-0.
Somehow that's a couple of times now that Rajkumar Mathur's spilt the ball from crosses. Wasn't the most difficult one. Just palmed it away into a very dangerous area straight to Rashid. Fortunately, Actually, strikes the volley first time, strikes it well, but just straight through the legs of the first defender, but straight at the goalkeeper.
কর্নার ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের দেখা যাক।
Starting takes a corner. Lots of chances for East Bengal, they can't complain about that. Durand with the latest effort. Rashid and Cheekson busy in midfield. Ramirez playing all across the front line, stitching up passes with Vishnu, Edmund and Jesse. Anwar Ali already had a punt from distance. Cheekson and his effort just went wide. In fact, every player
হাইড্রেশন ব্রেক 30 মিনিটে, এখনো পর্যন্ত গোল আসেনি।
Anwar Ali and Jumla,
সিআইএসএফ গোল করার মতো খেলছে না, কিন্তু ইস্ট বেঙ্গল
Ramirez, Rashid,
তারা
Jesse,
যথেষ্ট
Edmund,
অ্যাটাক
Vishnu.
করছে, একের পর এক অ্যাটাক তো
Very
করছে,
well
কিন্তু
involved as
গোল
well
আসছে না
from the
কোনো।
right.
শুরুর দিকেই এডমুন্ডের একটা শট বাড়ে লেগে ফিরে আসে।
Yeah, of course. Making sure that there was a handball as well, which wasn't seen. Not a lot of appeals, and then Vishnu's turn, curling effort, which was just bumped over.
Yeah, that's where you feel it's got to be something from these crosses. They've got to get play off the second balls, commit a few more men forward. May need a little bit of individual brilliance from someone like Edmund, just taking players on. It's a very, very crowded area. Once they're slow in their build up and try and find those openings. And perhaps maybe a shot from distance, a deflection, something just to sort of open up a little crack in this dam that's been put up by CISF protectors, and then possibly, the will break down, and then the quality difference will just start to show. But I think now, if you're the CISF protectors, the players, you're just starting to feel that, hang on a second, haven't had much of the ball, but haven't really had too many chances. Shikrat Khan will probably be feeling another 15 minutes, and we could possibly go in at half-time. I think that's a small victory for them. If they can get to half-time 0-0, I think they'll be pretty happy with that, and that's a small victory in itself for them.
Cheekson and Edmund. Sandeep Mandi. Vishnu. Here's Hardik Bhatt. Good movement. Rashid helps it on. Picked up by Hardik. Shot away. Powerful challenge and then a free kick given away by Hardik Bhatt.
There's just while this game's going on, we have a look at that little late challenge. Some news coming in that it's an official statement that's come out from Jamshid Qureshi where they mentioned that they will not be taking part in the Indian Super League this season. So this could be the last time we see them in this Durand Cup, possibly in a considered competitive football until next season. We remain to be seen where and how they participate or continue their involvement in Indian football. But that is big news coming in at the moment.
Massive news. Great to see all the reactions, and not just from those covering the sport, but also other clubs, especially after what was another very decent campaign last season. Meanwhile, CISF continue defending. Do you think that opens a window for another team like a Shillong Lajong to step in, possibly, or is it too late?
So many questions. It's a bit similar to last season where so many moving parts, so many possible changes.
This time, it's gone the other way, in fact.
I think the referee, wise to the fact that Danny Ramirez has been looking for these free kicks. Experienced player, knowing that it's difficult to break down. A very, very organised team that's sitting deep. He's just thrown himself to the ground on a couple of occasions. Got the free kick once, but it's good to see the referees this season trying to let the games flow, trying not to get conned by a lot of these players who have a habit of going down a little bit too easily. But in terms of just looking at the statistics in this game so far, 83% possession for East Bengal at the moment, 212 passes to the 43 of CISF protectors, and 10-0 in terms of chances created.
Sounds like numbers from the World Cup final. Ramirez just lifting into the path of Chessin, who's rounded the keeper, and Edmund has a chance to create.
Goal!
Back it comes, beautiful flick, wonderful goal with the front three of East Bengal combined.
Vishnu, Vishnu goal dilo.
And Ramirez's pass, which started it all off. When Abbas scribbled those three names on the team sheet to start tonight, this is exactly what he must have expected. It's 1-0 to the red and golds.
And this is what we talked about. Needed a little bit of magic, needed a little bit of inspiration. Got that from the likes of Ramirez with a wonderful ball. This is the risk when you play a little bit higher up the line. This is the risk you have spacing behind for the pace to get in. Listen does well to go around. The graft isn't made off. And Edmund, once he's in this position, that's just the game intelligence. Draws players, all expecting the shot. It's a wonderful cutback from him. And this is the interplay. You recognise when Edmund's got himself in that right-hand position. Vishnu's had to come inside and play that role of a centre forward. And that is a very, very cute finish. Just recognising, ball's played a little behind. All you have to do is just get that flick to push it goal bound. And that is how you unlock a stubborn and organised defence.
Very well done. Very good on the eye. Jessin confident after using his acceleration to good effect. Just makes one wonder all the way until the age of 26 whether he got enough exposure to play and lead the line for a side. Their athletic frame, which coaches demand from their number 9s in modern football.
Yeah, just a little bit of concern now from the CISF protectors players who's gone down. Looks like it's Karamjeet on that occasion. See the East Bengal physiotherapy team who are on double duty today. It looks like it's Firoz Sheikh, the former Odisha FC physiotherapist. So it's a lot of merry-go-rounds, just like with the players, with the support staff and the top tier of Indian football.
খুব ভালো ছবি সিআইএসএফ এর প্লেয়ারদের চোট লাগলেও ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের ফিজিওরাই যাচ্ছেন, সিএসএফ এর বোধহয়
Nothing too serious, but
টিম নেই।
no player would want to go off on a stretcher unless absolutely necessary. First time, and at a good time for this young East Bengal fan. Thank you to those who asked him to attend that game. Hopefully he'll be doing so 20 years later as well. Probability will be on expert duty that night.
Yeah, that's great to see. That's what you want to see in these games is kids coming to the stadium. We saw that in the previous game in Shillong. Wonderful crowds. You've got youngsters, you've got families, obviously women at the stadium as well, and I think we've got to get back to those days of Indian football where it's welcoming and friendly to all supporters, and that's what's going to help raise the game and build the next generation of fans. It's not just the Brazil game in Kolkata that the fans, which I'm sure will be flocking to, that we need to be supporting the teams in every single one of their games, and that's the only way to grow the game.
Vishnu does well to bring it down. Time for a setup. Well, the ball was sent on Ramirez's weaker side, which
Goal.
was more. And this time it's gone in, possibly off a CISF player.
সেম সাইড গোল হয়ে গেল।
Initially for that pass which he should have played on Ramirez's left. But he eventually made it right, didn't he, Vishnu? And East Bengal are 2-0 up. That CISF door was eventually going to be broken down. Maybe Vishnu's part of both those missions.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Once one goal goes in, just the heads drop. Possibly, I think CSF are down to 10 men at the moment with that injury. It's a wonderful little back heel. Once you're in that position, just put the ball in a danger area, that's all. If it hadn't, the defender doesn't slide in there, Khalid. I think it's a simple tap in for Jessen. But as he slides, one place he did not want the ball to go to is straight into the back of his goalkeeper Raj, and it's off the keeper into the back of the net. An unfortunate way for CISF protectors to concede, but they've rode their luck a little bit, got away with not conceding a penalty, and I think it's just deserves for East Bengal. 2-0 in a half where they've absolutely dominated with over 80% of possession. They've passed.
2-0 গোলে এগিয়ে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল।
That's a good tactical change as well, which led to both the goals.
আবার কি
There's another delivery just across the face of the goal line, just in front of the keeper. But this is what happens when you've got a right footer on the right wing and a left footer on the left wing. Edmund's delivery. Of course, there's always an option where players like to cut in and shoot, but that's what happens when you make players on the same side cross with the same foot. East Bengal have scored twice with that change. Edmund's ball.
Yeah, certainly I think that's the case, Fuller, when you're playing against a packed defence like this, where when you cut inside, or when you invert your wingers, you're going to be coming into a lot of traffic because of the way the team has set themselves up in this low block. So you're better off having right footer on the right wing, left footer on the left wing, so when you can get round the outside, create that 2v1 opportunity in the wide areas, at least you're getting crosses in the box. And what East Bengal have managed to do is get early balls in, so before the defence, they're getting into that space in between the defenders and the goalkeeper, which is making it very difficult for Raj Mahathir in goal, and as well as the defenders who have to slide towards their own goal. That's probably the adjustment that Antonio Habas made during that hydration break. And you start to wonder now, if you take away the tactical information of the hydration break, how much of a difference that would make in the course of the games.
Surely there's still a way to get information to players, just possibly not with a slightly more detailed explanation. But it's happening in age group football as well, so eventually players will get used to what is not just a hydration break but also a tactical timeout.
There was talk in some countries of having the hydration break on the opposite side of the field as the dugout, where hydration is provided but not the tactical information. Just to speed the game up as well.
4 minutes at a time.
Slightly high in that boot from Jatinda.
Yeah, just went over the ball, clipped Mundy. It's good to see Mundy just getting up straight away, not making a meal of it.
Ramirez and Cheekson. We're into 4 minutes of added time. Very different this game in terms of the quality from both sides, which we saw in the 5 p.m. fixture. It was going one way to the other, chances created by both sides. Shillong coming on top eventually, but great technical quality. Football was very good to watch. Vishnu stopped and then the ball's cleared away. This one has that quality, only from the one team though. That's what was expected. Edmund, skipping past a couple of challenges.
Yeah, it's just the gulf in difference. You talk about relative positions of these teams. Obviously, East Bengal, top team last season in the top tier of Indian football. CISF Protectors, meanwhile, a top 3 team, you could say, or a top 5 team in the Delhi League. And the Delhi League by no means one of the top 5 leagues anywhere in Indian football. You see Rashid just going a fraction early. It just shows you sort of the difference in levels of Indian football between the top tiers and some of the weaker sort of state leagues.
Jason. Vishnu, nicely
Goal!
Ramirez, and then eventually coming off Jason. And East Bengal do make it 3-0 just before half time. Excellent phase of play once more, and it's a deserved goal for the captain on the night.
Yes, deserved. Yes, the 4 minutes of added time. Probably just a little bit too much for CISF in terms of holding on. The heads have dropped after the first goal. Fatigue levels have started to kick in. We were just talking about the gulf in difference, and this is where the quality cream will rise to the top. It's a little clever ball from Ramirez, just cutting it back. And the captain of the armband got the goal as well to seal the perfect first half for East Bengal and get our pre-match prediction spot on where we said it would be 3-0 at half time.
Jason had a side-footed attempt in the first 15 minutes, which just spun wide. This time he was not going to miss. But it's great to see him make that late run into the box. Maybe it's easier to do in a game like this one as the half-time whistle goes, but if he can continue doing that regularly, if Habas can make him just back himself just to make that late run into the box along with Rashid, in this game has hung back a little bit. And those goals from midfield will really help East Bengal throughout the course of the season. PV Vishnu has a goal and the assist for the own goal as well, which came off Khalid. And Ramirez with an important pass in the build-up of the first strike before providing a goal for Jackson. It's the goal.
ফার্স্ট হাফ হয়ে গেল 3-0 গোলে এগিয়ে রয়েছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল। বল পজিশন 81% ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের, 14টা শট নিয়েছে, যেখানে একটা সিআইএসএফ এর অন টার্গেটে ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের 6টা, খুব স্বাভাবিকভাবেই ডমিনেট করছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল, কিন্তু কোথাও গিয়ে ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের খেলার যে গতি সেটা কিন্তু মিস হচ্ছে আজকের মাঠে দেখা যাচ্ছে। একাধিক পরিবর্তন হচ্ছে আজকে মাঠে ফার্স্ট 11-এ।
I think the first touch of the ball was them kicking off, and afterwards they didn't see much of the ball. And then we go just back to defending 11 against 10. It was like a game of attack versus defense.
আজকে গোলের নিচে ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের লাচেন পা, প্রফসুখান গিলকে খেলানো হচ্ছে না। জিকসেনকে ক্যাপ্টেনে আর্মব্যান্ড দেওয়া হয়েছে, যদি বক্সের মধ্যে ওদের একটা হ্যান্ডবলও হয়েছিল যেটা পেনাল্টি দেওয়া হয়নি, নাহলে হয়তো ব্যবধানটা 4-0 হয়ে যেত এতক্ষণে। পিভি বিষ্ণুর একটা খুব সুন্দর গোল, পাশাপাশি একটা গোল হচ্ছে CISF এর একজন ফুটবলার, তিনি গোলের শট মেরে দিয়েছেন ভুলবশত, ওন গোল, সেম সাইড গোল হয়ে গিয়েছে। পিভি বিষ্ণু একটা ভালো ট্রাইও করেছিল, খুব সুন্দর সেন্টার করেছিল, কিন্তু সেটা CISF এর গোলকিপার খুব সুন্দর দক্ষতায় বাঁচিয়ে দিয়েছে। জিকসন আজকে গোলও পেয়েছেন একটি রামিরেজের পাস থেকে। গোল পেতে পারতেন এডমুন্ড একটি শট পারে লেগে ফিরে আসে। ইস্ট বেঙ্গল এই ম্যাচটাতে বড় ব্যবধানে জিততে চাইছে, নো ডাউট। ফার্স্ট হাফে ইতিমধ্যে 3-3টে গোল হয়ে গেছে, দেখা যাক আর কত গোল হয়, কত গোলে শেষ করে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল। ফার্স্ট হাফে 3 গোল ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের, নো ডাউট ম্যাচটা শুরুটা ভালো করেছে। ফার্স্ট ম্যাচ যদিও ডার্বি হেরে গিয়েছিল, কিন্তু খুব সুন্দর বিষ্ণুর গোলটা, বেশ সুন্দর একটি গোল করেছে এডমুন্ডের পাস থেকে। লাইভ স্কোর আপনাদের কেমন লাগছে? যারা খেলাটা দেখতে পাচ্ছেন না তাদের জন্যই আমার এই বিশেষ আয়োজন। তো আপনারা বলবেন প্লিজ কেমন এইভাবে স্কোর দেখানোটা আপনারা কতটা এনজয় করছেন। আমি জানি না, চেষ্টা করছি মাঠেরও ফিল দেবার। ইস্টবেঙ্গল 3-0 গোলে এগিয়ে রয়েছে ডুরান্ড কাপের সেকেন্ড ম্যাচে। ইস্টবেঙ্গলের সেকেন্ড ম্যাচ, প্রথম ম্যাচ ডার্বি ম্যাচ তারা হেরে যায় মোহনবাগানের বিরুদ্ধে 1-0 গোলে। সেকেন্ড ম্যাচ কিন্তু ডমিনেট করছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল CISF প্রোটেক্টরসের বিরুদ্ধে। ইস্ট বেঙ্গল 3, CISF 0। তার মধ্যে বিষ্ণু একটি গোল করেছে, জিকসন গোল করেছে এবং CISF এর ওন গোল একটা সেম সাইড গোল করে ফেলেছে তারা। ফার্স্ট হাফের পর ইস্ট বেঙ্গল 3 সিআইএসএফ 0। বিষ্ণু, জিকসন এবং সিআইএসএফ এর পক্ষ তারাই নিজেরাই একটি গোল করে দিয়েছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের হয়ে। সেম সাইড গোল হয়েছে। ইস্ট বেঙ্গল আজকে টিমে অনেকগুলো পরিবর্তন করেছে ডার্বি ম্যাচের থেকে। আজকে জিকসনের হাতে আর্ম ব্যান্ড এবং আজকের ম্যাচে বিষ্ণু এবং জেসিন টিকেকে ফার্স্ট থেকে খেলানো হচ্ছে এবং প্রথম হাফ থেকে খেলছেন রামিরেজ এবং মোহাম্মদ রশিদ। প্রফসুখান গিলের জায়গায় গোলে খেলছেন লাচেনপা। টাফ কম্পিটিশন লাচেনপা এবং প্রফসুখান গিলের মধ্যে। আইএসএল এ লাচেনপা গোল্ডেন গ্লাভস রয়েছে। হার্দিককে খেলানো হচ্ছে। নুঙ্গা খেলছেন আনোয়ার, মান্ডি, রশিদ, রামিরেজ, জিকসন, এডমুন্ড, জেসিন এবং বিষ্ণু। আমার মনে হয় সেকেন্ড হাফে বেশ কিছু পরিবর্তন করতে পারেন হয়তো ডেভিড, যেহেতু ইস্টবেঙ্গল এগিয়ে রয়েছে। ডেভিড এবং নাচোকে হয়তো খেলানো হতে পারে। মার্ক জো, বিপিন সিংকে আজকে খেলানো হচ্ছে না। অ্যান্টনিও লোপেজ হাবাস তিনি তার প্লেয়ারদের শক্তি পরীক্ষা করে নিচ্ছেন, এরই মাধ্যমে দেখে নিতে চাইছেন কে কতটা এফেক্টিভ। কারণ নতুন দায়িত্ব তিনি নিয়েছেন, আইএসএল চ্যাম্পিয়নদের দায়িত্ব নিয়েছেন, ফলত তার কাছে এটা বড় পরীক্ষার সমান। সেই জায়গায় দাঁড়িয়ে হাবাস কিন্তু পরীক্ষা নিরীক্ষা একটু করে নিচ্ছেন, যাদের প্লেয়ারদের নতুন রিক্রুটমেন্ট করা হয়েছে তাদের দেখে নিতে চাইছেন তিনি। তিন 0 গোলে এগিয়ে রয়েছে ইস্টবেঙ্গল। ফার্স্ট হাফ শেষ হয়ে গিয়েছে। ইস্টবেঙ্গলের হয়ে গোলগুলো করেছেন বিষ্ণু, জিকসন এবং একটি গোল সিআইএসএফ এর ক্যাপ্টেন তিনি নিজেই গোল করে দিয়েছেন। ইস্টবেঙ্গলের ওন গোল, সেম সাইড গোল হয়েছে। 3-0 গোলে জিতছে ইস্টবেঙ্গল। ফার্স্ট হাফের শেষে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল 3, CISF 0, 3-0 গোলে জিতছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল এই মুহূর্তে দাঁড়িয়ে এবং আগাগোড়া ডমিনেট করছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল। সেকেন্ড হাফ শুরু হচ্ছে।
Durand Cup, 135 years of peace, powered by the State Bank of India and Coal India Limited, organised by the Indian Armed Forces and supported by the government of West Bengal. All those in red and gold who come to watch this must be licking their lips in anticipation.
কিশোর ভারতী স্টেডিয়ামে চলছে আজকের এই খেলা।
Of course, they do understand.
ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের সেকেন্ড ম্যাচ ডুরান্ড কাপের।
It's not always going to be the quality of opposition, but it's important to watch their team put on a show when the chance is there to put on a show, which they have. Like so Ramirez, Edmund, Jessin, Vishnu, Cheeks, and all combining very well. What is the carryover effect of this spread into a season? Some might say, okay, this is a one-off game. You can't really judge a championship side against CISF protectors. At the same time, you possibly can judge them. They are expected to be 2-0 up at half-time, and they are 2-0 up at half-time.
Yeah, I think it's important for the coach, as listening to what Abbas was saying earlier on in the day, and you've got to take these games almost as a pre-season practice game. At the same time, you want to do well, but you can, with the skill of the coach, use it to your advantage. Can you use it as motivation to rotate your squad, which he's done today, to get valuable minutes to sort of play players off against one another, saying, listen, you're getting an opportunity to start, show me what you can do, and that's what this man in picture, Jessin's got to do today, playing up front, given that opportunity to play as a striker. Show me what you can do. Can I rely on you in a game? Can you be somebody that, when we get into the Champions League 2 qualifying stage on the 12th of August, which isn't far away, it's less than a fortnight again away, they play Al-Arabi, and it's important in terms of getting his foreign players some valuable minutes with that game coming up. Obviously, at home to the Kuwaiti side, it's going to be much, much tougher competition, so it's a good way to get some confidence, score some goals, and take some positives going into that game.
About generating some momentum as well. Massive game there. Of course, decide how far the season goes in terms of the sheer number of games which they will play. 3-0, lots more to come. It will be interesting to see what Habas does with the changes. Got enough depth at this point, especially for something like this. I like so David Amar, Rohit Danu looked good in his first appearance at the start of the derby. In Edmund's place, who's now on the wing. Edmund also started there, but just in the hole. There's Mandi.
Oh, goal.
Excellent start.
PV Vishnu,
Fantastic.
দারুণ গোল দিল।
PV Vishnu once more. And this time he can celebrate. Less than a minute on the clock in the second period, and East Bengal make it 4-0, and it could become a tennis scoreline if it continues like this.
কি গোলটা দিল।
There we go. That's what you talk about. Get crosses in the box, get numbers in the box. But what about that for a hit? Wonderful technique from Vishnu. Beautiful scissor kick. Wonderful contact. Struck it perfectly in off the upright. He couldn't strike that any better if he tried. A great cross from Sandeep Pandey. Vishnu certainly seems up for it and making the most of his opportunity today, getting that start.
And in scintillating form. Needed the trust of someone like Oscar Puzon to come on and give him a chance. Even before that, he was just knocking on the door, but that consistent run of playing in the first team, of having big game experience, paying off now. Jessin. Here's Jason.
Yeah, you talk about the likes of Rohit Danu and Pippin, who started in the first game, sitting on the bench wondering. Probably wish they had started in this game. They've added to their stats, added to their tally, have an opportunity to impress the new manager. And as it stands, Vishnu is on a hat-trick, and we'll probably be looking to complete that. We could get our second hat-trick of the tournament.
Rashid. Jason. Now Edmund. Too easy. Chimunda. Mundy does well to create space and then sends it the other way. Ramirez tried a little too much when he had the chance to just deliver something simple.
Yeah, still so
4-0 গোলে
focused.
জিতছে
Antonio
ইস্ট বেঙ্গল,
Habas.
কিন্তু হাবাস বোধহয় কোনোভাবে
He
খুশি না।
understands there's a bigger picture than just this game, trying to work on elements in their pre-season. And this is the best opportunity. Sometimes it's like a practice game where you can put a lot of those ideas into practice that you want. It's almost like a live set-piece training session now.
Rashid's ball. Headers palmed away. Constant. The threat from Anwarali. Being a centre back and a strong defender, that's obviously the forte, but it had goal scoring and a knack of being in the right place at the right time. That's just special. Here's Ramirez once more looking for Anwarali. Trickles all the way to Edmund. Rashid invited to cross.
আবার কর্নার।
Yeah, there's some miscommunication from Rajmahatha and his defenders. That ball was going wide. Got the shot from the goalkeeper, but wasn't aware of his angles. Wanted someone to let him know that that's going out, but he's got to know his angles.
Oh, another big chance. Just what needed a little glance. Habas allows himself a little smile before turning away, but should have done more with that opportunity. Ignacio Monsalve from Spain, the new signing, is on the bench as well. So he's the goal. So is Shovik Chakrabarti, who has so much competition now in the middle of the park to stake a claim as a starter. Oh, great skill, once more condition. Mundy looks more settled. This particular shape at the back with Mundy down the left. As another attempt gets saved, and Chimnunga and Arurali as the centre backs, and Hardik, but of course providing width down the right.
Yeah, I think in terms of, if you're looking for their all-Indian personnel, this is arguably their best set of defenders, more balanced in the way they look. But once the likes of Nacho and Salve come in, we've also got Martin Reiner as well. I think they've got options, but I think Nunga gives them that versatility. Once a foreigner comes in, maybe he's the one that makes way, but could play on either full-back positions. Just got to add that little bit of maturity to his game. Over the past couple of seasons, picked up a few too many cards, a few too many rash challenges. And in midfield, with the likes of Ramirez and Rashid settling in, I think it's just going to be one spot for an Indian player, and Cheekson almost certainly be cemented that position. The question will always be up front, and that's why Vishnu, Jess and Edmund have got to take their opportunities when they do get them. The likes of Sangusi Jr. added to the squad.
Here's Mundy. Edmund. Shot from distance. yourself as well, Hardik.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, is there any player on the field, with the exception of obviously football Tempo, maybe possibly Chungunga, and the fullbacks haven't had a shot on goal. Every single player from East Bengal has had a pop today. Jeepson has scored, Rashid's had one, blocked, Ramirez had a few, front three obviously have tried their luck and succeeded.
Goals box. Ramirez turns away. His turn to go for goal as well.
বলটা গোলে থাকলে
There
গোল
was
হয়ে
more
যেত।
excitement about that attempt given how far off his line Rajkumar Mantha was.
Yeah, the keeper in a really advanced position, just asking for someone to try their luck. I'd say Bolo was a lot closer in the first half.
Rashid, so much time on the ball now. Mundi. Anwar. Lots of offers, lots of runners in front of Ramirez, that's what he likes. Rashid this time. Trying to find Jesse, who gets there first and gets a touch. Takes it out for a corner.
It's a clever threaded ball through. Just try to catch the defender off balance.
Ramirez. Rashid recollects. And there's been at least one change for CISF. Rahul Aswal, of course, who came in. Abbas will probably reward these players with at least an hour of action. Anwar Ali. Oh, it's a horrible mistake, and now Jessin probably had more time than he thought he did before trying to pick his spot.
I wonder which was more of the horrible mistake. This from the goalkeeper or the miss from Jesse.
Distance. He would have got a touch, would have been offside. Important to get as many goals as possible for East Bengal, especially if South United have a trick or two up their sleeve and spring a surprise. Oh, this is very nicely done, and there's a man on a hat-trick still on the pitch. Vishnu unselfish. Ramirez into the side netting.
Yeah, brilliant run once again by Vishnu to get in behind. Whether the decision to go around the goalkeeper, or should he have just looked to place this and get his hat-trick? I think the angle was tight, but once he's laid his back to Ramirez, poor decision for him to go on the outside. Shows once he couldn't get it onto his favourite left foot, limited with his ability to get the ball back and play a teammate in.
Cross is an attempt by called into action. CISF where sustained possession is the ball now. Sent out very quickly as Edmund on the line right in front of his approach. They say it's put out of play. Rashid coming off along with Ramirez. Vipin. And Jack Gupta we hear. Rohit. Yeah.
Rohit Kumar probably coming in. Just wonder how they're going to make that adjustment, whether they can go out wide or play a little bit more centrally.
রশিদ এবং রামিরেজকে তুলে নেওয়া হলো, তার জায়গায় বিপিন সিং এবং রোহিত কুমার এলো। মোহাম্মদ রশিদকে তুলে নেওয়া হয়েছে।
Could be Habas switching to more of a 4-4-2, Vishnu and Vipin in the wide areas, Rohit and Cheekson matching up 2 for 2 in midfield, and leaving Chesson up front alongside Edmund Malaradika.
সন্দীপ মান্ডি বেশ নজর কাটছেন, তিনি ডিফেন্সে ভরসা যোগাচ্ছেন।
Just a little late. Durand in this booth. It's not a game in which head coaches would want to try something wildly different. It's more about understanding the principles, and sometimes one might think, what is the point of a one-sided exercise like this? But especially if you're just starting a season, the coaches possibly see things that fans don't. A 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, whatever it is, a big victory always gives confidence to a group together, especially one which is fairly new after all the incomings and outgoings.
Yeah, especially after the early loss in the first game and Derby loss to their arch rivals. And you can see why Monday looked a little bit perplexed, the referee giving that decision against East Bengal. Possibly a little bit of sympathy from the referee, given the scoreline, given the dominance. For the first time in almost an hour, it's dropped below 80% the possession for East Bengal.
Thangmin. East Bengal not pressing anymore. 4-0 comfortable. They don't have to go and win the ball. At some point CISF will give it to them.
Yes, these kind of games where as a coach you probably hope that you will be allowed more opportunities to substitute more than just 5 players. It's a good opportunity in pre-season to get proper match fitness. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Habas brings a couple more players on if they score the next goal.
Bipin. Perfect weight on that, and he was about to smash it first time. Edmund's eyes must have lit up. Cheekson. Jessin on his own. Just over.
certainly wants a goal today, just and everybody else has managed to add to their statistics in terms of goals and assists. It's always good early on in the season if you can just get your name on the score sheet. It gives you that little bit of confidence. Just moves you a little bit ahead in the pecking order compared to some other teammates. I just feel as an Indian striker with the personnel that East Bengal will sign this season or have signed this season, it can be very difficult for him to get meaningful minutes.
Goal!
Ball there should be
Goal!
finished by Bipin, and it is finished.
Bipin Singh.
East Bengal smooth sailing after that defeat in the derby. Bipin's come on and swept a 5th goal in. Beautiful weight as well on the ball down the right.
Yeah, beautifully weighted ball. Once in that position, Bipin just clever. Just opens up his body, shapes as if he's going to put that towards the far post. Just takes the easier option, just slotting it into the gap in that near post. Underneath the keeper. Composure from the very, very experienced Bipin Singh.
That's why he was brought on as well. Get a goal, get some confidence, very important. Last season, a serial winner of trophies in India. Wherever he ends up, we'll see if the trophy follows him.
বিপিন সিংও গোল করে চলে গেল 63 মিনিটে বিপিনের গোল 5-0 জিতছে ইস্ট বেঙ্গল এই মুহূর্তে দাঁড়িয়ে
5-0. Expect more. And given that they've lost the first game and head to head against Mohun Bagan Super Giants will always mean that the Mariners will finish above them in the table if the points are the same, but out of all the best runners up, with the best goal difference will go through. And we expect that East Bengal will not stop scoring. Bipin gets enough of his toe on there to stop it. Here's Mandi. Rohit. That to be a better pass. Taken away by Chungnunga. And here's another chance. Saved this time. First by the post and then by the goalkeeper. Jessin simply can't seem to be able to hit the net.
I mentioned earlier that Chungnunga was one of the few that hadn't had a shot on target. He's won the ball very well, spaces opened up in front of him. A player with some wonderful technique, we've seen it in his early years. It's what brought him to the attention of Sri Deccan, his ability in Mizoram as a centre back, score goals, take free kicks.
Oh, this time it's the bar. And it's Edmund Lalrindika who hits the turf in frustration. Too much far in there, it seems.
Yeah, this is where there seems to be that little bit of competition between Edmund and Jessin now to see who can get that next goal. Both of them frustrated at the moment. Maybe at times when they have one another in a better position, opting to go for goal themselves because they've seen Vishnu add to his tally. As we see CISF protectors bringing in the changes, multiple changes, need the fresh legs. Change up front in the midfield and up at the back.
Yeah, Vasu Kanoja has come on, so has Rajdeep Singh and Ankit Rana also been brought on. Mandi. Bipin. Kumar with a big switch Here's Vishnu. Jackson. Jessin, unable to turn his man. Hanman keeping a close eye on him. Well, time for the new signing.
নাচোকে নামানো হচ্ছে আর
Nacho
রোহিত দানু
is ready to come on along with Rohit Dano.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get some minutes, get his first taste of Indian football. Experience Ignacio Monsalve Vicente. Pretty impressive CV. Started off his career in Atletico Madrid youth system, worked his way up the ranks to the C, the B team, and to the senior level team. His travels have taken him across different parts of Europe, Eredivisie in Holland, Bulgaria, and eventually now to the sunny climes of Bengal.
গোল অবশেষে জেসিন গোল পেল
Time for goal number 6. And Jessin TK finally has his say. He's waited for a long time, especially in this game, to score after watching all those around him celebrate. And one of those old school, beat the keeper and hit it into the empty net. Good awareness, good finish.
Yeah, he started the scoring by going round the goalkeeper but laying it off to Edmund and passed it to Vishnu on this occasion. He's been looking for that goal, goes round the goalkeeper and only one thing on his mind, slotting it into the empty net. But this is where CISF got to recognise at this stage of the game. It's got to be damage limitation. They've brought on some fresh legs, maybe some fresh impetus, but they tried to play a higher line and left that space in behind. You cannot afford to do that against the quality of the opposition they're playing against, the pace in which East Bengal can go in behind teams, the likes of Bipin, Edmund. Here they go again.
Very nicely done, but somehow Rajkumar makes the save. Abbas is enjoying it. And PB Vishnu, who's looking for his hat-trick. Couldn't have been a better chance for him to get it.
Absolutely, that's why with the wry smile from Antony Abbas, he's kept him on the field so he can get his hat-trick. He's not going to get a better opportunity than that. Did the spectacular with his overhead kick. Just couldn't do the simple tap-in on this occasion.
Probably had a deadline of 75 minutes before Abbas hooks him off. Needs him fresh for the next one. Nacho Monsalve. Good age as well for him to come here, 32. Centre-backs usually consider that particular age bracket between 30 and 35 to be their best years, given the experience and the ability to read a game. Nice through ball this for Vishnu as well. Was he pulled down? The referee disagrees with East Bengal and their fans.
Yeah, he certainly looked at first glance that he was pulled down. Maybe a little bit of the mercy rule from the referee.
Was he brought down this time? Nothing given for that as well. No penalties if you're 6-0 up.
Absolutely, if anyone's unsure about what I meant by the mercy rule, there you go, there's a perfect demonstration of it. Something that's used in youth sports where you don't run up the score beyond 6 goals in games. Maybe the referee just feeling that He's got to impose that.
Jessin
গোল আবার গোল করলো জেসন
with a sharpshooter, isn't he? After not being unable to find what he's got to. And this time, the finish came with a flourish. Nicely done by a player who might just be able to get a lot of first-team opportunities when the full season begins.
Yeah, it's good movement, good run. It's what you want your strikers to do. Take the shot early before the keepers can set. It's a sign of a good finisher. Knows where the goal is. Didn't have to look up. Just hits it. Hit it on target. Hope the keeper isn't aware. You taking that shot early. Keeper wasn't set. Strikes it well into the far post. And now, in the competition, it's going to be Jessin or Vishnu who gets the first hat-trick for East Bengal this season.
Great to see that. It's a fluid front line. And given that other signings will join, maybe Habas will not have a chance to experiment so much when the regular season starts, but these are really good signs. And let's just hope the unlikely chance where he takes the brakes off his team when it comes to the big games, because even last season, this particular group of players, they seem to be more creative when they're not boxed in to certain styles of play or approaches rather. It's an attacking team. Maninder Negi is set to come on for CISF when Jacob will go off. I've seen Bebeto make those runs from his left back position, which he did against South United. Simply hasn't been an opportunity to do so given how much traffic has come from his side of the pitch. Here's Bipin now. There's one waiting in the middle.
গোল
And is it there? There it is.
কি করলো ওটা
PV Vishnu
পিভি বিষ্ণু হ্যাটট্রিক করে ফেললো
gets his hat-trick. And he does it just in time. First hat-trick scorer of the season
হ্যাঁ
for East Bengal.
টিমটা বাজে 8 গোল হয়ে গেল সিআইএসএফ কে 8 গোল দিয়ে দিয়েছে এখনই 75 মিনিট খেলা
Play from Pippin first to get that running behind. This is just draw the defender in and lay it into the path of his teammate for his hat-trick. Fully deserved. Wanted a chance
এই
early
এত
and
গোল
made
দিচ্ছে আর কি
absolutely
সেলিব্রেশন
no mistake this time.
ও সেলিব্রেশন করছে তো
8-0. It's a chance to go for the record for biggest winning margin in the Durand Cup.
Wow. There's something maturing as well about PV Vishnu. I can tell the way he celebrates, he conducts himself, nothing too flashy, not pulling out the siu or folding his arms like Mbappe, just gets on with it. And he loves doing what he's doing, and he just makes goals for it look easy. That's a good sign for a young striker.
Yeah, it's good maturity from the players just to recognise you know the level of the opposition. There's no need to make a meal of scoring in there. Obviously, it's good to get into habits. It's just like scoring in training. See the dignitaries who come here also enjoying the atmosphere at the stadium. Getting to see 8 goals flying in. We certainly see a few more, I'm sure, if CISF don't continue to play the way they played in the first half. If they're going to commit men forward, you just throw caution to the wind. East Bengal will have the motivation because of the games coming up and the way Habas going to set them up. They're not going to just take their foot off the pedal, not going to just rotate the ball around. They will look for the 9th and the 10th.
আবার দিল রে
Maybe the 9th could come very soon. Rajkumar had to make that slight challenge and time it to perfection to stop Jessin. Vishnu. Chance to cross it in. Had the time to measure that. Yeah, 9-1. That is the highest margin of a win in the history of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. That's in September 2016 when Dempo beat Real Kashmir. This one, if it stays like this one goes above that, doesn't it? Because the clean sheet, is that how it works in statistics?
I'm not sure, but it should do. Certainly an impressive performance from East Bengal, but it begs the question then about the quality of the opposition, the quality of the tournament. You can't be having teams that are coming in and conceding 10 goals in their opening 2 games. It will start to have coaches question whether they should play with full-strength squads. A lot of teams have opted not to play in this competition. And it goes back to that point you were making before the start of the game, Fuller. If you had a cup competition in the midst of the season, at least then you wouldn't have these kind of situations.
Okay. It's been in the works for some years now, this particular thought of having the cup competition in the middle of the season. Something like the Durand, possibly not because of how it's organized by various different entities who have to come together for a set number of days and make it happen. But apart from that, of course we're referring to either the return of the Federation Cup or it might be the Super Cup or whatever it's called. But having it in the middle of the league season like it is everywhere else, possibly that is on the mandate as the seasons progress over the next couple of years.
Yes, something that's been discussed over the last decade but never implemented. Certainly if they're going to bring back the Federation Cup, that's one of the best things they could do. The Federation Cup in its old avatar needed to be changed. It wasn't popular. And that's the reason why the Super Cup was introduced. Try and bring in top 2 tiers of Indian football, and that failed miserably as well in terms of gaining any kind of traction and credibility, even though it had a continental spot up for grabs. A lot of players opting, a lot of teams opting not to go full strength.
Because what happens in that situation is that it never leads to us possibly not watching someone like a Jessin play in the ISL and then just see him in next year's Durand or the Super Cup. If there's a cup in the middle of the season, he's possibly going to start one or 2 of those games. In something like a Federation Cup where every club in the pyramid structure should all be seen together and play as Lala Sangha comes on. Well done, Vishnu, with a hat-trick.
Yeah, right on cue. Give him about 75 minutes to get his hat-trick now. Turn of Jessin, whether he can get his.
4 different goal scorers, in case you're wondering. 8 goals, and of course one of them was an own goal. Vishnu, Jessin, Jeekson and Bipin are the scorers.
The ball just gone out of play, but they certainly don't want to stop here. Haven't taken their foot off the pedal, looking to add more. Subs certainly want to impress the coach and make sure they're in his reckoning for the upcoming games. But yeah, just going back to the point about middle of the season cup competition.
ইস্ট বেঙ্গল 8 CISF
Depending
0
on where you are in the
82 মিনিট খেলা
league at that
অতিক্রান্ত
stage of the season, it's an opportunity for coaches to give other players an opportunity. If you know in the middle of the way your cup competition is drawn, you have a CISF protectors or a third division team like Output FC. You can probably rotate your squad, probably rest some of your foreign players, bring in some of your youngsters. And of course the competition can be tweaked in a manner to allow more Indian players to play. So it's something that could be looked at, should be looked at, just in terms of increasing the sheer number of games that all the teams across the pyramid need to be playing.
And when that happens, we will get to see something known as the magic of the cup competitions. Here's Rajdeep. Great challenge from Jason. He's been very solid as well.
Yeah, we had seen it in the past when there was some form of competition where third and second division teams could qualify into the Federation Cup, like Royal Windo and Shillong Lajong, cause a lot of upsets against big name sides.
Pickett. Jason. David Amar's ball. Well blocked. And then made an adventurous run towards the box as well, looking for the return.
And there was a time in the Super Cup where Indian Arrows as well, beating Indian Super League teams, some impressive performances, like Rahul KP. So these cup competitions can be an opportunity for youngsters to make a name for themselves, test themselves against top quality opposition. Kind of games. It's possibly why the fans haven't turned out in the large numbers as you'd expect for East Bengal fans in Kolkata. It's almost a foregone conclusion in terms of the result.
The striker forced to play it behind, and in fact he's given it straight back.
David, goalta de bhai.
Couldn't beat the first man. David still has it, and then hits the keeper, and then wow! It's inexplicable how East Bengal have not scored a 9th, and how David hasn't added his name on the list of scorers.
Somebody had a better opportunity, and just trying to do a little bit too much. Once he's in that position, he's got to do a lot better than hit it straight at the goalkeeper, as he needs to take those extra touches. Just a little bit too eager, snatching at those opportunities.
It comes in again at the far post, where he might be nodded back towards goal. Initially seemed like he would pick out Jessin and let him have a hat-trick as well. David chose not to pass.
In these dying stages of the game.
They've got to have lofty ambitions to survive in these waters. Nice ball there. Just a little bit of joy for the protectors as East Bengal completely take their foot off the gas. Surely they want this to be over. They'll be hoping the referee doesn't announce 6 or 7 minutes of added time.
They certainly don't want this game to go longer into the night. I mean, the likes of probably a David Amar, Rohit Danu, Jessin probably will want a late finish.
Here's Jessin. Chance to cross. Oh, what a complete mess of that.
You need to be climbing the stairs and be atop a loft to get on the end of that cross.
Devarama. Danu. Lots of competition down the wings.
Tense player, players just getting a little bit selfish once that ball's gone out wide to Rohit Banu. Just look up, got players inside the box. All you have to do is just loft that into 6-yard box. Got players who can get on the end of it.
Hat-trick hero on the night, PB Vishnu. Three good goals as well. Second one, the pick of them all. That first one, also instinctive to finish. Here's Rohit Kumar. Early diagonal. Touchdown for another East Bengal corner. We will be heading into 4 minutes of added time. East Bengal's 13th corner to CISF's 1. That could have been the scoreline. Projectors will be happy. It isn't. Mohan Bagan coming up after this.
That is not something for the coach to look forward to. You only made one change today, which means you have a lot of fatigued players for that game against Mohan Bagan. You'll be hoping that Mohan Bagan will secure qualification by that point and ease up. Certainly say that East Bengal, if they pick up 3 points against South United, will be going through as one of the best second place sides. Goal difference at the moment would stand at +7.
A little action for Lachenpa.
Yes, Lachenpa would have possibly wanted to start his East Bengal career with a clean sheet. Really had much to do, just had to keep his concentration.
Cleared away once more. Good game tomorrow evening. Northeast United taking on Bodoland. Champions finally showing their defense of the title. Some interesting signings from them as well. Much awaited return of Ajay. Not sure you'll see all the stars though. Rahmat Banali still in the process of sealing the roster. David Amar. Kang Min pushing it out wide. Hildu will just keep the ball for the rest of the minute and a few seconds left. Not allowing that. Here's is David Amar. Jessin runs all the way. There's the hit. It's gone under the keeper. Follow on off the post. He's just staring at them.
It's just not a David Amar, similar to Justin. Needs a few attempts. As Jackson almost doubled his tally, almost went swirling through the keeper's grasp.
ও বারে লেগে গেছে ডেভিডের শটটা বারে লেগে গেছে
The difference we're talking about with some of these young Indian strikers just needing a few more chances in terms of chances to goal scoring ratio. They get their names on the score sheet, and that's the big difference. The likes of David Amar just have to add to the game is to be a little bit more clinical when they get these opportunities. These are the games where you have to make it count. Just in both in terms of giving yourself confidence, giving the manager that little seed of doubt that he can't trust you in those moments late in games when you need to make changes.
He's been ball chasing. Biggest win in Durand Cup
সেই
history, but
8-0 বলে হার CISF এর
8-0 against CISF protectors. Antonio Lopez Abbas's men.
বিষ্ণুর হ্যাটট্রিক জেসিনের দুটো সিএসএফ নিজের একটা গোল করে দিয়েছে ওন গোলস ইনসাইড জিকসন সিং একটা গোল করেছে বিপিন একটা গোল করেছে
And there was an own goal to put.
জেসিন
Dominant, one-sided. Sometimes it's games that used to get away from East Bengal, but for this new defending champions of India version of East Bengal, it's proper performance. 8-0, which means that they've built up their goal difference as well, which will help them in terms of being one of the best teams going through second place sides in the quarters. A long way for that story to go, but here's the dominance that they had, nearly 40 shots, half of them on target, and a huge gulf in quality.
Yeah, the highlights package will just be all of 5 or 6 minutes, so we probably will not show you, or will not be able to show you all the chances, but here was the first one of them. Edmund Alradika smashing the upright, and at that point he just felt it was just a matter of time before it was coming. Everyone started to try their luck from distance, like Vishnu, Edmund had the early chances. Rajmartha kept them out, but eventually the gulf in quality was all evident. Edmund squaring that ball back, Vishnu with a clever little back heel, put the ball in the back of the net, and that's when the floodgates began to open.
Vishnu then turned provider. In fact, it was his ball, it won't go down as an assist for him, but he was clever enough to put as much pace on that, put it in the right area. Any touch from any player could end up in the back of the net. It was the captain Khalid who got the own goal. Ramirez then teed up Cheekson, where an almost similar side-footed effort from outside the box just go wide early in the game. The captain of the night getting his goal. Before this happened, a wonderful acrobatic effort from PB Vishnu as he doubled his tally, and East Bengal at this point were running away with the game.
Yeah, that was just moments after the restart in the second half, and I think that broke any sort of will that CISF protectors had about trying to keep the scoreline respectable. The game was over as a contest, and then it was just a matter of how many could they score. The subs came on, the intensity increased, and Bipin making sure that he wasn't one to miss out. Ghosting in at the back post, scored a simple tap in, and then moments later, the goal scorer turned provider. In between, just had a few chances, should have added to the tally, just couldn't find his firing boots.
Went past the keeper though. Had the pace and acceleration to do so, and made no mistake. Given how many chances East Bengal were missing at this point, that was well done by Chesin. And two players were looking for a hat-trick at that point when he got this one. This was much better finish. Really good strike, good technique, and then Bipin teed up Vishnu to get his third, so he could come off the pitch 10 minutes before full time. Second hat-trick scorer of this edition of the Indian Durand Cup after Rainier Fernandez got one for Jamshedpur in the first week of action. Massive result, 8-0 then for Antonio Lopez Abbas's red and gold.